Good evening, everybody. Welcome to episode 46 of the Odyssey Hour. We are your hosts, three of us, apparently. Just us girls tonight. So
Girls' night.
yeah, it looks like it's the gals' night out from before. I just have such a large sensitivity and feminine side to me. I think I can.
We know, Mike. We know.
We could.
And you should be proud of that.
I didn't say I
Ain't
wasn't.
nothing wrong with that.
I didn't
It's
say
all
there
about
was anything wrong
balance.
with it. So, ladies' night here tonight until obviously Sam and Scott get off their asses and get in here. So, I hope everybody noticed the new opening that I finally got done, finally got filmed and finally got done, featuring a not handicapped Scott and a half cut off Lauren. So
I like it. I think it looks good, but I'm biased because it is of me. So,
Yes, of course. Why not?
Yes.
Yep. That looks a great video because I look fantastic in it.
I just said it's because I'm in it, and I appreciate that.
Well, of course you are.
Yeah.
Who's got something to report here tonight? We'll do updates just like normal.
Just on anything?
Oh, God.
Well, I mean, if anybody has any like actual updates, I mean, I guess I'll go first. So even though we're not going to give out any actual details, I will let everybody know that this week Lauren and I have started to work on Minnesota Paraunity 2022. That hopefully within the next 2 weeks, maybe, should have some big announcements for it. But right now we're fast approaching the Vegas Paraunity Convention, and much to my chagrin, it may just actually be about to get even bigger. And I know what you're all thinking. Why would I be against my own event getting bigger? You will find out when and if we are able to make any sort of announcements. But so until then, VegasParaunity.com if you still want to join us in Vegas, December 9th through the 11th, or I guess December 10th through the 10th and 11th if you only want to go to the convention. But it's going to be a hell of a good time because Lauren and I have been working our asses off to try to get that to you.
Yes, we have.
So please say thank you. That's all we want.
I just want somebody to go enjoy themselves.
Well,
that's all I'm asking.
That's the thank you, because they don't thank you for a horrible time. So
True.
If people have a good time, I would like them to I'd like them to let us know. So there we go. So anybody else?
Mercury is no longer retrograde.
Mercury was never retrograde.
Yes, it was.
Like ever.
What are you talking about?
No, never Mercury. No Mercury retrograde. Period. Just throwing that out.
I think Mercury would disagree with you, Mike.
Mercury is a planet that will not agree or disagree and does not slow down in its orbit ever. It remains constant, which means since there's no change in Mercury's orbit or its rotation, there is no retrograde. Ever. Period.
You can believe whatever you want to believe.
Anyways, moving on. Who would like to throw out a question first?
I have a question. So a lot of times, hi Kim, hi, and Pam, hi. A lot of times I have heard that when people see mists, whether they see them with their eyes or they're in a picture or whatever, they tend to be different colors, usually white or black, but sometimes there are some different colors that are captured. Do you think there's any significance to the color of some kind of, not apparition, but like some kind of manifestation that you can physically see? Do you think the color really has anything to do with it?
Am I
I guess
Sam? I'm sorry, Haley. I keep interrupting. Am I Sam tonight? Just for future reference.
you can be. I think I'm lagging a little bit, so that's why we keep cutting each other off by accident. But I'll go.
Yeah, no, don't. Yeah, do it.
I guess the first thing I sort of thought of with that question is like aura and aura colors. And maybe certain I know different colors can sort of symbolize different um or rather have different meanings. Like I believe like gold aura is supposed to be like a very like spiritual, like holy aura. Red is maybe more of like an aggressive aura. So I guess maybe I don't know. Sometimes I'm skeptical of like myths in photos, just because it's like maybe it's just like the camera and not something that's being seen. But I'm not trying to completely say that I don't think it can happen. But I guess that is kind of what I would think of as like maybe a certain color aura could have some sort of influence on a mist and symbolize different sorts of energies.
Okay. I don't. I don't think. Now, are we talking about miss in photos or video?
Both. Oh, bye, Haley.
And then there were two.
Okay. I mean, I'm good with just sitting here talking for an hour. That's fine by me. But yeah, like
she's back.
There we go.
Welcome back, Haley.
Sorry, I wanted to see if refreshing would fix the issue, and I don't know if it did, but
well, we'll figure it out. So, first things first. Hello, Kim. Are you going to get your booth tonight at all or ever? Just want to throw that out there. All right, to your question. So, especially in photos, I think that it's more, they take on more of the reflective of the room and everything. I mean, white and black. I mean, obviously, whether the flash illuminates it or whether it doesn't illuminate it. But I mean, I guess I would have to see what the room is and whether you like, if you saw a red mist, something like that, or a blue mist, what are the colors of the walls? What are the colors of the carpet? Is there anything in the room that could it's been a long day. So that could be a reflection of that, kind of like they say that the ocean is blue because it reflects the sky, that sort of thing. I honestly don't know if I have ever seen any other type of mist that did not take on like the colors of like the IR or something along those lines. Could that be? I mean, because all IRs, even though if you took an IR and pointed at another IR, it's just like this big white light. But if you look at it with your naked eye, they're red. So, I mean, it is the camera reflecting off the IR, that sort of thing, and then putting that onto the reflective surface of the mist. Sunlight, obviously, if you see a mist during the day, is the sunlight illuminating it. Just kind of like the photos that I told you about that BJ sent me, where he asked if it was a ghost or vape smoke. Now, obviously, he knew it was vape smoke, and he was just trying to be a douche. But, it's a question that I think a lot of people ask, and I think some people don't ask, and then they put out that stuff as, some sort of paranormal activity. But like, I haven't seen, like, I've seen a green mist, but the IR light turned the camera green. So I guess I would have to see exactly what the photo or video looks like. Now, if you're talking about with your naked eye, that's a little different. And I don't think I've never seen, I don't even think I've ever seen a mist, to be honest with you. But I don't think I've ever even heard of a story of anybody with their naked eye seeing like a blue mist or something like that didn't have some sort of natural explanation. Like the moon, they saw it, coming out of the trees, but the moon was shining down, that sort of thing. So yeah, I guess it's a case by case basis, but honestly, I think all the colors of mists are probably just natural reflections of what's around it. What about you?
Yeah, I was very interested, and Haley brought this up because I wanted to see what y'all thought if ghosts had auras and if that would somehow translate into that, because I don't know, but I wanted to throw it out and see what y'all thought. I don't know, because I genuinely I don't know, like, do ghosts have auras? Do we consider them to have kind of some kind of chakra left, even though they don't have a physical body, or are auras more attached to physical bodies, or like what? I'm still trying to figure that out. I don't know much about it, but I think it's really interesting, so that's why I posed the question. So I genuinely don't really know.
I definitely believe that spirits have some sort of ability to project like their energy signature. We talk about cemetery lights, and supposedly those are orbs you can see with your naked eye. And I have seen multicolored orbs before. I've seen an orange one, I've seen a purple one. I definitely think that if they're trying to manifest in some way, they can probably do that. I know a lot of people believe that, especially in orbs. I had an investigator once that was telling me all about, like, blue means this, and gray means this, or black means that, or whatever. I mean, this was a couple of years ago, like 5 years ago, something like that. I can't remember, but I noticed she was trying to tell me all about it. So, I mean, if the question was simply, can ghosts still manifest in aura like color? Yeah, I definitely believe that. But you were talking specifically, so that changes my answer just a little bit. But
sorry, I wrapped it all up into one.
Well, don't do that.
Here we are. We all survived, and we're still here.
Ooh.
Okay.
I do like what you said, though, Mike, about myths, because I think I kind of agree that I've never heard of someone seeing with their naked eye a colored mist, and it has a lot to do with the environment that the mist is in and what colors could be reflected. So I guess auras are just what I've thought of. Does that necessarily mean that I think mists can be colors? Not really. So I guess that's just my clarification there. But I do think that spirits maybe could have auras. I don't know. It's interesting because you think of auras as being something, or like chakras as being something that's so connected to physical bodies. Like you have your throat chakra, or your heart chakra, or your crown chakra at the top of your head. And then, when you leave your body, your physical body, where you have these different chakras, do those still kind of stay with your spirit? That's kind of an interesting question, and one that obviously none of us really know the answer to for sure. But yeah,
I guess I've never attributed chakras to the physical body. I mean, I know they have their their terms, but I think that's just where they're located. I don't think it really has anything to do with your physical body. I think the whole point of chakras is to have that spiritual, like kind of, I don't want to say cleansing, but like alignment. Like you're supposed I think when your chakras are aligned, and I think probably Kim could, in fact, Kim, I should send you this link. You should get in here because I think you have studied or know more of this stuff than I do. That's for sure. But I do believe that chakras are more of a spiritual thing, and the best way that that you're kind of in alignment is to have all those chakras in line with the physical body, and then you're good to go. But I thought that they were spiritual in nature, anyways.
Maybe. I'm super not the person to ask. I guess I just personally think of them as being very connected to the physical body, but I don't know much about chakras other than apparently I don't remember my results from Paraunity. I was yellow.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. We were just talking about that.
Mm.
Yeah, at lunch yesterday, we actually brought up ours. And I know my number 1 was purple, and my number 2 was green. Wait, was it green? I thought it was green. Number 1 was purple. I remember that. But yeah, that wasn't purple, the crown.
I think so. That sounds right.
Yeah.
Pamela would like to. I've seen both white and dark mists in locations with my naked eye. Well, you beat me, that's for sure. I haven't. I don't know what they were. Reflections of anything seemed freestanding, so to speak, and not influenced by the color around them. Don't know if that means anything, though. Well, white and dark mists, I think, are probably the standard colors. I think if it's dark, you probably see, if you see it, it's probably white. And if you're in some sort of sunlight, maybe that's black. I would have a hard time believing that you were seeing like black mists in that dark room. Although they do say that, like, if you see shadow people and stuff like that, it's blacker than black. I have not had that. I have not had that experience yet either. So they hide in the corner, they don't come out, and then people tell me to leave. So for my own good or theirs, I have no idea. But I don't know. Mists are just not something that I've encountered a lot of, whether on camera or not. So I don't pretend to know everything. So that's that. Anything to add to this conversation about mists or orbs or chakras or anything that they mean? No?
Nope.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. Haley, did you want to go next or me?
Sure, I can go. Which of my questions do I want to do? I think
all of them.
I'm not going to pull a Lauren and try to wrap them all together. No, just kidding.
It just happened.
I know. I'm just messing with you. I didn't even think that you did that, but anyway. So I think that this would be a fun one if we were all here, but Scott and Sam are suckers, so you guys will get in on that.
They definitely suck. So
they suck. So I think most investigators could probably agree that like a really vital skill to have as an investigator is being able to sort of ground yourself. And I guess I just kind of wanted to ask about what your personal sort of like routines are with that kind of thing, about with staying grounded. So like before an investigation, do you do something? During an investigation, do you do something? Do you do something after? Like, how do you personally keep yourself grounded if you do try to do that?
Lauren, I'm gonna let you go first.
Let me tell you, the routine that I have both before and after my
She's a
investigations.
Virgo.
We are a Virgo. It is written down somewhere in my room. It is written down. Anyway, so, and this has changed recently for not because it's like not working, but because I'm like trying to develop things. But anyway, so my usual go-tos, especially before, I like to try to meditate the day before just to like kind of center myself and like kind of quiet out the noise, because if you can't tell, I have a very busy brain and I think in like 50 million different directions at once. So it helps me to just like kind of calm and like center myself, because you need to go in focused and you need to go in very observant and just like patient. And I am not good at being patient. I'm working on it, but I am not good at being patient. So that's one of the things that I do. I also get my crystals ready. I always have a little thing of crystals with me, and I bring my rosary and everything like that. Afterwards, though, after I get back from an investigation, I take a hot bath with Epsom salts, just kind of clean off anything that was left over that I do not want. I usually go to Mass because I am still Catholic, so I feel comfortable there. I feel that it's very cleansing for me. So it's just a safe place that I like to go to kind of reset after something like that. And we typically go on Fridays or Saturdays, so I just usually go on Sunday. And then I usually try to meditate or do something the day after, just like for myself, that is by myself. So it's again kind of quiet, and just make sure I'm feeling okay, you know, because I think it's important, especially before, during, and after, to check in with yourself, because if something's not right, you should say something, you know, especially in our group. I feel like we have that trust where if something doesn't feel quite right, it's better to speak up so the rest of the team can kind of help you and figure out what's going on if something does need to, you know, be done, and if something is really wrong. But yeah, so I have my routines. I'm sure it will change. It is ever morphing and everything like that as I go, and just, it's individual to everybody. And I love that. And I love the fact that you can find what works for you if you feel that you need it. I get like some people are not as in depth as I may be, but it's totally fine. So I enjoy it. It helps me feel grounded and centered and ready to go. So
I believe, Haley, what is it? Rule number 4 or 7 is speak up.
I don't remember what
Of
order
course.
it is, but I know it's one of the rules.
I didn't think you would. I just wanted to see. But yeah, I know it is definitely one of the rules of this team. Speak up. You know, never keep it to yourself. And I know that when one of the first, was it Edinburgh? So either Edinburgh or Ashmore, the first time we were there, it was like 3 weeks later, and Scott said something along the lines of, and it had nothing to do with his spirituality, but of his physical. And never said a word. And I blew up at him. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, you're just telling us this now? And thankfully he hasn't done it since. But yeah, everybody needs to speak up if they feel anything is wrong, physically or spiritually or mentally, any of them. If an investigation is in any way harmful, the rest of us need to know. With that said, you all might find this hard to believe, but I don't do shit.
wouldn't have thought.
Yeah, I know.
Who could have predicted this?
You know, let's close it. I guess it's one of those things where, at least so far, and I'm not going to be arrogant enough to sit here and say that it's never going to happen, but spirits just tend not to come around me. You know, whether it's a medium, whether it's a psychic, whether it's somebody that has some sort of abilities, they're intimidated by me, which I don't like. I don't like that fact. But they just, you know, whether they interact with the equipment, whether they leave EVPs, you know, or whatever, they just don't bother me like physically. Like, they don't follow me home. They don't do any of that stuff, which I'm very thankful for. I mean, I guess you could say my whole grounding thing is the introduction, that I do every investigation. Here are the rules. Here's why we're here. These are what you can't do. And these are what you can do. And so far, that has worked. And I remember that we were done. We were on a case with Cena. It was myself, Josie, and Cena. And that was it. And we were doing a private residence in like a fourplex, one of these like 8-plex apartment buildings or whatever. And it had a potential, like this client felt that she was being attacked by demons. Shocker. She wasn't, but she did have a nasty, nasty poltergeist that she was creating. And but we left there, and Josie wanted to be smudged, so she kind of Cena did that for her, and then she smudged herself, and I'm like, do I even need it? And she looked at me for up and down a little bit. No. And we got in the car and we left. So I know a lot of people out there like to do the tree thing, where they stand on the ground and they envision roots, grounding them to the, Mother Earth and stuff like that. I guess for me, I just don't put any, I don't want to say faith, but I don't put any, what word am I looking for? Yeah, whatever. I don't think that works for me. It's just not the way I do things. And I'm sure that once that bites me in the ass, that will change. I'm not against being smudged. I mean, we did it when we were with BJ just a couple weeks ago. He had the thing smudging everybody. Let's do it. I got nothing against it. I just don't think that. I guess I just don't think that it's necessary for me to do it at the present time, just because of the way the spirit world, I guess, reacts to me. Do I wish, obviously, like I said, that they reacted differently than being intimidated? Absolutely. But I guess for right now, that thought makes me feel a little safe. And I think that's what grounding is all about. Make you feel safe, make you feel secure, give you that backup support. And honestly, that's what I have you guys for. So, and I don't mean that in any sort of negative connotation whatsoever. I mean, seriously, that's what that's why you guys are there, and that's why we're all there, myself included, is we're all there to back each other up. And so my grounding, I guess, so to speak, is you guys, and the fact that you guys are there. That is what brings me comfort in knowing that if anything were to happen to me, you would be able to pick that out. As my friends like to say, they know I'll be possessed because I'll get nicer. So there you go.
He's possessed if he says something nice about cats.
Oh, yeah.
No.
Not even possessed?
No, that's when I'm dead. I mean, I'm just not even here anymore if something nice about cats comes out of me. But so if I come out and I'm like, hey, everybody, you're all looking wonderful tonight. I gotta say, I'm so honored to be here, which I am actually. That's not me being possessed. But anyway, I was just trying to pull something of what I might say to give the impression, but whatever. All right. Haley, what about you? I mean, you answered your own question, obviously.
Yeah. I definitely don't have as elaborate of a routine as Lauren.
I'm sorry.
Shocker.
Mine's over the top. I know.
Do not apologize.
Do not apologize ever.
Not allowed.
You do what works for you, and I don't care if you add another 15 minutes to it.
listen, you're a Virgo, I'm a Virgo, but we're not the same Virgo, okay? I've got an Aquarius moon. I'm more relaxed. No, I'm just
Oh
kidding.
Lord.
Okay. I'd say pre-investigation, my biggest thing is like the night before, I try to make sure I like really get some good sleep. Just because the easiest way for me to feel ungrounded is to be overtired. So that is a big thing for me is like I get my sleep the night before. I make it happen. Um, as much as I can. Obviously, if it's a 2-day investigation thing, sometimes you roll with 5 hours and that's what you have. But as much as I can, I do that. Sometimes I'll do a little meditation earlier in the day. It just really depends on how I'm feeling. Like sometimes I get just like this past weekend, sometimes I just get a really nervous energy before an investigation. Not for any particular reason, but just some days you do. So then I'll try to do, a little meditation to sort of center myself. Like Lauren, I also have my thoughts going in about 100 different directions at any given time, which is why I can't speak like even one sentence, as you all have seen. I'm doing a couple right now. I'm doing pretty good.
Proud of
but
you.
thank you. Typically, I cannot. So I'll try to do the meditation if I need to. I do always try to bring some crystals. I honestly forget I even have them with me while I'm there. But I think maybe it's just like some sort of personal reassurance. It's like, well, I have this tourmaline and that's very grounding, so who knows if it works. Um, During the investigation, I am similar to Mike. I don't think spirits are particularly interested in interacting with me. I think that I'm not a very intuitive, sensitive person, so I think they kind of just mind their business and don't really pay much mind to me. But if I do feel ungrounded, I sort of a meditation or visualization visual
Oh, you're doing so well.
that's a hard one. I
Mhm.
know. Visualization that I like is to sort of imagine that there are like two sort of heavy iron balls tied to my feet, and those are sort of what keeps me grounded. I don't really some people do like the white light thing, that doesn't seem helpful for me, but if I imagine that I'm really feeling that like heaviness like in my feet, that for some reason seems to help me with being grounded. Um, and then yeah, typically I don't do much after. Maybe I think that is one part that I would like to work on is having more of an after routine. Not that I necessarily feel like I need it. I'm not really afraid of something following me because, like I said, I don't think they'd find me all that interesting. Um, but I do think maybe something I could introduce just to, like, rather be safe rather than sorry. Um, yeah, if it's a particularly like heavy investigation, sometimes we all kind of want Scott to do like a prayer or something like that to
Yeah.
help us be grounded. So, that's something we all kind of do if we feel like we need it. Like I know after Ashmore, I always kind of feel like I need Scott to do a little prayer just to kind of separate me from the place. Um, but yeah, I'd say that that's my kind of non-routine routine.
I guess I should probably, because you mentioned it, Haley, and I'm like, oh yeah, I do that too. So not to be like, not to sound like I'm all masculine and manly here, because I do every day, every day. Doesn't matter if it's on an investigation or not. Um, in my left pocket is a bag of, a little like Faraday bag of crystals and rock and gems that I got from Kim. And, it's got quartz and rose quartz and it's got tourmaline. And then my former bracelet that I had that Jerry had made me snapped. Um, and I managed to get a bunch of those beads, like tourmaline beads and chakra beads and stuff like that to throw them in that bag too. So that's in my pocket every day. And then on a particularly potentially dark or negative case, like the one we did a couple weeks ago, I wear obviously my wristband that Jerry remade me, and then I also wear the eagle claw tourmaline necklace that I told Kim she was going to give me. So, yeah, a lot of stuff that I have for protection I got from Kim, which I'm very, very thankful for and very appreciative of. So I guess I can't particularly just puff out my chest and be like, halt, spirits. I do, I do take some measures of protection, but like grounding and stuff, I guess I never saw how that would actually work for me anyway. But it does for some people, and good for them. But yeah. So full disclaimer there, all right. So anything more for anybody to add on this topic? Nope. Okay.
Share your routine in the comments below.
Oh, I want to know. Yes, please do.
You could do that. So Pam wrote this. I think your introduction is wonderful. Mike, thank you.
It is a good intro.
I have worked. I've worked at it. It has been changed over the years, and it does change per location. Like we go to Leduc, I don't even feel the need to say rules. I'm just like, hey, remember us? We're here. We'd like you to come out and chat with us. Let's have a good night. Like that's the introduction on that one. So you have experience investigation with several different groups since you investigated with us last March, developing your own methods. Excellent. Truly excellent, Pam. Yeah, repeats my speech. Literally out loud. I figured if it works for a Ouija board, it should work for everything. So, I bid you goodbye, and I bid you good night, and I bid you goodbye. You shut it down. Same as any medium or psychic is going to tell you that they do in their sessions. They have their own routines of shutting it down. And I definitely think that is very important at these places. To whatever your intent is going in, that you take that intent back. And I think that honestly think that is probably another reason why I don't get followed, or why I don't feel at all anything negative that has ever come after an investigation. And I think it's because the intention gets shut down. So I'm very happy that I've developed that, and that is part, because there's even been investigations where I've almost forgotten. And like even recently, Scott came up to me. He's like, did you want to shut it down? And I'm like, what? Like, I didn't even know what he was talking about. He's like, say your goodbye. I'm like, oh yeah, I should probably do that. Even though like we were like almost packed up and about ready to get in the car. But yeah, they had just done a flipping clearing. I was like, why do I have to shut down? But it can't hurt. Can never hurt. All right. So mine is easy. I don't think it's necessarily like a big thought provoker. And I did not come up with this myself. I am going to steal it from somebody. I'm going to pull Scott tonight, harness my inner Shay, and take something that I read off the internet today. So, and Laura knows what this question is already, but I think it's an interesting one. I wish we were all here for it, because I'd like to see everybody's answers. But you're going into a haunted location. It doesn't matter which one. You can only take two things into the investigation with you. What do you choose?
Damn.
You're welcome. Really, Lauren? You knew this question was coming and you don't have your answer yet? Come on.
I forgot. Okay, no, I know my answer though. Unless Haley, you want to go first, or do you need to think about it?
Absolutely not. Go first.
Okay, all right. I would want a camera, like a video camera that has audio capability, so we can kind of cover. If you have to squeeze me down to two things, I will take the camera that has the audio, like recording in it, so you can kind of cover two things. Not quite, but like you're kind of there. And then I've really been liking the REM pod recently, so I think I would take that.
That's my answer.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. No, I think I agree. I like the idea of squeezing the camera and the audio into one, so some sort of video recorder with audio capabilities. If I was forced to choose between camera and audio, I would just go audio. I feel like that's pretty self-explanatory. I think you hear way more things typically with evidence than you see, at least in our experience, I would say. So having some sort of audio device that can pick up, sound very well is super important. And then, yeah, I really like the REM pod. I think of all the pieces of equipment we have, we seem to get the most sort of intelligent responses with it. Or seemingly intelligent. So I don't know if that maybe means that it's easier for spirits to interact with compared to other things that we have, but I just think it's a great piece of equipment. I like it a lot. So that's what instantly came to my mind, but maybe Mike will be about to blow my mind with a much better answer.
Not really. I like the video camera, obviously with audio, like one of ours. And, if you could put on like a boom mic, like it could be a camera with accessories, maybe I would go that direction. But if it's just a camcorder with like their internal microphone, like what we have, or even a lesser quality camera, like it would depend on the camera, I guess you could say. It's one of our nice XA10s, maybe. Otherwise, I would have to go with Haley and choose like a good audio recorder, because that's where you're going to get most of the evidence than the video. Now, obviously, the video would be if you needed to prove that it wasn't you. I mean, like if this was something that you needed to show somebody else, or that you were going to share this great evidence or whatever, and you wanted to prove that it wasn't you doing it, then yeah, you would need the camcorder. But if it's just for like your own research, you don't care if people people are skeptical of your audio or whatever, I would still have to go with the digital recorder, because you're going to get more in that way. Now, I do agree that I do like the REM pod, but since you can only take two pieces, I would actually take the MEL, because it's temperature, EMF, and has the REM capability. So it's kind of, even though we don't get much with the MEL, which is fine, because then that just means that it's more reliable. As long as the MEL was working properly and not going like on the fritz and stuff and just randomly going off, I actually would take the MEL. And that was hard because I really like the K2 as well, the periscope. But again, we can set off the periscope. We can set off the K2 with phones and stuff like that. Although I guess you really can't bring that in, because that could be a piece of equipment. So that can't be brought in either. Either way, I'm sticking by my answer. So depending on whether it's depending on the quality of the camera, that and the MEL, or an audio in the MEL, gives you kind of everything. So,
Good
all right.
answer.
We still have 15 minutes. Who wants to ask question number 2?
I can.
Do it. Do it, Haley.
All right. I'm going to try to phrase this in a not confusing way.
Much appreciated.
All right. So just bear with me because it's going to sound probably confusing. So last week we were kind of talking about like past lives or just lives other than the one we're living in right now. And something that kind of came to my mind is like, do you think our past lives always have to take place in the past? So like, could one of my past lives be, in the year 3000 when we're living underwater, according to the Jonas Brothers?
I was gonna say,
or
I think
like-
I've heard that before.
Yeah. Or like,
I'm sorry you just lost all credibility with this question.
No, the Joe Bros rule. I've never been the same since the Joe Bros. Anyway. Or like, do our future lives need to take place in the future? Like, in my next life, could I be like in medieval times? Like, what is your kind of thoughts on that whole thing? If you have any. And I've never done any past life regression stuff, so I guess I don't know.
I guess I'll go first while Lauren is talking. There is a theory out there. I don't know how much I subscribe to it. But you can ask people who do like past life regressions and who can look in your past lives. But a lot of people say, especially since energy, if everything is true, is not bound by time, space, anything. It can go forward and go backward, it can do whatever. But there is a theory out there that all of our past lives, or all of our lives in general, all take place simultaneously. And that we are living every one of our lives right now. I don't know, like I said, I don't know how much I subscribe to that, but I think it's possible. Unlikely, but possible. So, but then, I mean, we say past lives for a reason. Can you get in touch with a future life? I think so. I just think if it is chronological, if past lives are stuff we have already lived, they ended, we moved on to the next. Then I think those past lives are past lives, and anything we can do in the future is a future life. But I think that we can also get in touch with those too. I think I even asked Cena that question at some point in time. But maybe you really shouldn't even call them past lives. Maybe you should just call them other lives, and leave it at that. I think past lives is just one of those terms that puts everything into context that people understand. Whereas, I'm sure if you went up to somebody and you're like, would you like a future life progression? I'd be like, what? Like, I don't know what you're talking about. But I think that could actually be the case. I think you could do it. That might cost you $100 more, though. Who knows? But yeah, so I have heard the theory of simultaneous lifetimes. But yeah, so I guess that's my answer. I mean, I think it's possible. Absolutely. Although how you do it, like how you get in touch with a future life or just any of your other lives, whether they're happening now or not, that's beyond my purview.
I don't really know. Like you, Haley, I have never had a past life regression. I'd be interested in having one, but the only opportunity I was given was at Perry Unity, and that's a very loud convention hall, so I would not be able to focus in that situation. So like if it was quiet, like place, I would do that. But I'm still on the fence on if I really believe in past lives all that much or not, because I haven't personally had much experience with like a reading or it just making sense in my mind. So I'm open to it. I just haven't really been 100% convinced yet. Like everything that I've heard is like about other people's, and I'm like, okay, I can't do anything with that. So I don't know. So open to it. But I guess I've just always kind of assumed that if past lives are a thing, they're very chronological. And like past lives have happened in the past. And I guess there's probably some way you can connect to a future life. I don't know how. I don't know how that works. I'm very confused by the whole theory of it. But it's an interesting theory, Mike, that you brought up, that they're all happening simultaneously. I could see how, like, I guess I can see how people could kind of get there, but I don't know if I put that much stock into it.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe once I do more research, it will make more sense. I do not know. But yeah, it's definitely a super interesting topic, and I feel like it's definitely like a rabbit hole you can fall into if you have nothing to do at like 10 p.m. on a Friday night, and you just start researching the hell out of it, and you just go down this whole thing where like, what if this is happening? What if this is happening? And like all these things that just kind of blow your mind.
That's so happening in your future.
I know, at some point it is. I'm ready. When it happens, y'all will hear about it. Trust me. Because I will be throwing facts at you every which way that I can find. But yeah, it's not something I know too much about, but I do think it's super interesting. But I haven't been 100% convinced yet.
What about you, Haley?
Yeah, it's definitely like Lauren said, it's like a internet deep dive kind of question. I think it really just has to come down to how people view time. I think in a lot of like American culture or just really Western culture in general, we view time as being very much linear. But in a lot of more Eastern cultures, Asian cultures, especially, time is more in a circle. Like things go back and repeat. And it isn't just going from like the past to the future, it's going back in a circle. It can go forward and backward and then backward and forward. So I don't know. I think to me it just kind of makes sense that you could have one of your past lives having taken place in the future or vice versa. I don't know why. I guess it just kind of, I'm like, why not? But I guess that just has to do with kind of how I view time. I try to not see it as linear all the time. Um, I like what Becky just said about simultaneous lives, if you want to pull that up.
I do. Simultaneous lives could explain why some people wake up with an irrational fear that they didn't have before.
Yeah. Or I was kind of thinking about the idea of like Mandela effect could fit in with simultaneous lives, which we've talked about before. Or
I love the Mandela effect.
yeah, it's an interesting thing. Or like deja vu, or there's something else I was gonna say, but just stuff like that, or like multiple universes, like stuff like that could kind of fit into that. I don't know that I necessarily think it's all happening at once, though. To me, that just is like overwhelming. But like
too much.
All of it at once. That fish that turned into a human, it's happening right now. No, I don't know if I believe in that, but in my past life, I probably was that fish. That's my influence. Or was it my future life? Anyway, I'm not going anywhere with this. So, that's my answer, I guess. I think it's a cool idea. But I would have to talk to someone who knows much more about this. I know Scott has mentioned that he knows he at least has one more future life. I don't know how he knows that or how he found that out, but we'll have to ask him about that and maybe he could elaborate more. Yeah.
Sweet.
That's that on that.
So, Lauren, did you want to ask a second one or no?
I don't have my list with me.
What?
I know it's at the office.
We've talked about this.
I know.
Have 2 lists.
I know, but that's hard to keep up.
Oh, Lordy. Just make a photocopy of the one you have.
Or I could take a picture.
You could take a picture. There you go.
I could do that. I'll do that tomorrow, so I'll be prepared for next week.
I think that you should ask, and it's too bad that Scott and Sam are here, because I would really like to hear their answers. But why don't you ask the question you asked me earlier, or is that just like a me specific about an investigation and what would have to happen for you to actually feel afraid?
I think I asked you that earlier today.
You did. That's what I said.
Yeah.
But I didn't know if that was everybody could answer that question or if that was specifically for me.
Everybody could answer that.
Right. What about you, Haley?
Like, so what would make me feel afraid on an investigation? Is what the question is.
Afraid, fear, scared. Yeah.
What events would have to happen for you to feel that way?
I definitely wouldn't like it if something hurt me or hurt someone else on the investigation. That would freak me out a little bit, because that is crossing over my personal boundaries big time, and the boundaries that we set at the beginning of, I'd say most investigations. And that tells me that we're kind of messing with something that doesn't want to listen to us or doesn't have any respect for us and our rules. So I guess that's what comes to mind for me, is like, that would freak me out. I'd be like, don't know about this. That's my answer. How about you guys?
As y'all know, I am scared of a lot of things.
1 or 2.
Just a few. I think the first few things that come to mind are somebody getting like thrown or like hit or punched or like some physical attack on one of the people that either me or that I'm with, somebody in the group, or us being trapped and we can't get out of a room, or we can't leave, or we just can't leave. We can't remove ourselves from the situation and we're just stuck. I would hate for that to happen.
You would
Ditto.
hate for that to happen. Oh, are you kidding me? You guys talk amongst yourselves. I need to take this phone call really quick because it's important. So
Okay.
You just discuss.
Well, Haley, I have a question for you then.
What is it?
What are your favorite crystals for protecting yourself?
Okay, so I know I made fun of tourmaline, like, oh my god, it's so grounding, but I love tourmaline.
It's freaking amazing.
I have a black tourmaline. What else do I like? Honestly, I don't know where all my crystals are right now, and it's kind of a problem. They're somewhere in my room, I'm sure.
Hopefully you didn't lose them.
I know I didn't. See, listen, I know I packed them when I moved out of my apartment, but I don't know which box I packed them in. And it's been like 5 months and I have not unpacked all the shit because like it's not worth it. It's just sitting in the garage.
Okay.
Blah blah blah. I like tourmaline. I really like, shoot, what's it called? What's the one of the bracelet you made me that's like the pink one?
Rhodonite.
Rhodonite is like my favorite. Like that is the crystal that I have had the most personal connection with over time. That one's not like a super grounding one, I don't think, but it's really good for like emotional healing, I believe.
Yes, it is. I have actually a heart made out of that. It's really, I like it.
So pretty. How about you, Lauren? Share your crystals.
Oh, well, I actually just bought some. Shout out to Enchanted Boutique in, what is it, White Bear Lake, I believe. Jenny and I forget her mom's name. Oh my God, I should know that. It starts with a B. But anyway, they're amazing. If you were in the Minnesota area, go. They have amazing crystals. I actually picked some up this weekend. This week we went to go visit them. But I love, for grounding specifically, I love agate. especially Lake Superior agate, because I feel like we're in Minnesota, so a lot of it comes from Lake Superior, and that's just like, it feels closer to home for me. I love that. But my go-tos are always howlite and lapis. I don't know why. Those are just the two that I go to all the time because they're both very calming, and I just think they're stunningly beautiful. But protection-wise, what do I have in my little bag? I have a lot of things in my little bag. I have smoky quartz is usually my go-to for protection, which I've been meaning to get like a tower of it because I only have like little tiny pocket stones. But I've been meaning to get a tower of that. But those things, like a small tower can run you easily like $45. But
Jeepers.
yeah, like a nice one. But like, yeah, I have so many freaking crystals, which I'm very proud of myself. I charged them yesterday or like last night because we had the full moon last night. So they're all charged. They're ready to go. I'm very proud of myself. Yeah.
So how do you, I know like you're supposed to charge them, like it's in like a north facing window, or is it south, right? Or how do you usually do it?
Well, I only have one window in my room, so we just go with that.
Yeah.
But usually if I don't want to wait until the full moon, I usually put some so you can actually find like crystal charging music on YouTube, and it's literally just like long, like hour-long videos of that like Himalayan singing bowls and stuff like that. So it's like the right frequency. So if I'm impatient, I'll usually do that. But if I'm patient, I usually put them, I put all of my crystals actually on my desk chair and just kind of push it towards the window. So it's all in one place and it's all facing with the moon when it goes over at night. Yeah. And then I have like my selenite bowl that I always put everything in, but that's for like cleansing, which is different than charging and the whole thing. Yeah, I just think they're really pretty, and they're good physical reminders for me to remember to be patient or like to focus or whatever is associated with that crystal. They're really good physical and visual reminders for me because I'm a very visual learner and visual person, so that helps me. Yeah, I know everything is like, it's all the power you give it kind of thing. And like all the intention that you put behind it. And I try to put a lot of like positive intentions behind them. So I feel like they help me. Yeah, they're also just really pretty. I really like them. Yes.
Yes, I think that Mike should fund a trip for us since he can't listen to any of this right now. So he's gonna fund us like having a full like spending spree at a crystal shop soon.
I love that
yes.
idea.
I think it's necessary for the team, the health of the team.
You know what we
our
should do?
grounding. What?
We should do product research at one of the big gem expos and convention shows in Arizona.
Yes, we should.
That's where all the good shit is.
Yes, we should do that.
Yeah, that'd be so much fun. It's like one of my life dreams as of like 2 years ago, to go to one of those like big crystal shows and just like see what looks like I need to have that, which is probably going to be all of it. But you know, like sometimes you walk into a crystal shop and you're immediately drawn to certain things.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I want to walk into like a massive convention hall where there's just like millions and millions of crystals and just see what happens.
Totally. That sounds amazing.
Doesn't it?
Yeah. I bet there's some cool crystal shops in Vegas that we'll have to check out.
I have contacted a lot of them.
Yes.
Trying my best to get those because I know we need to go on a shopping spree at the convention.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm a big kid now with a big kid job and nothing's Uh-oh, I froze everything.
Oh, there you go.
I'm back.
Yes, Becky's going to go shopping with us.
Becky's invited.
Yes, hold it and feel the vibration that speaks to you. I love that. I love that.
Great. That is great.
Yeah. It always makes me nervous though when I like when you go into a shop like that because you don't know what other kind of energy's like been around that.
Right.
I would hope that they're cleansed, and I would assume by like all of the other positive energy it would be, but you never know. So the second
Yeah.
I get mine home, I throw them right in my selenite bowl and leave it there for like 48 hours.
Yeah. I should do that. I try to not like if I'm looking for crystals, I try not to just be touching them constantly, you know, or like
Mhm.
I try to see if I can pick up on vibes from afar and see what's
Mhm.
calling to me, even though Becky is right. Like you do have to kind of touch it to really connect. Oh, here he comes. We're talking about ghosts. I love talking about ghosts and spirit.
I'm back. Sorry about that.
No, it's okay.
Yeah. Okay. That was about Friday. So,
Ah,
Oh, okay.
all right. So, what I missed, you guys didn't seem to have any sort of problem continuing. So, what did I miss out on?
We
lots
were
of talk
talking
ghosts and
about
spirits.
yes, yeah, lots of very, very informative topics.
Right.
And Becky was there too for it. We were so great. We were having a conversation with Becky.
Mm-hmm.
How? I only see one comment. Hold it and feel the vibration that speaks to you. So you're talking about stones?
Yeah.
For 5 minutes, yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's fine. I mean, that's a good topic. I mean, we were talking about that earlier.
Mhm.
Yeah. We were going over like our favorite ones and how we like cleanse and charge them and everything like that. Because yesterday was the full moon,
Mhm.
or last night into this morning.
Did you get yours charged?
Full
I
moon
did.
Aries.
Oh my God, the chaos ensues. Yes, I did get mine charged.
Excellent.
Mhm.
Okay, sweet. Well, that's pretty much the hour,
That's
and
the
then
hour.
some. So, I guess that does it for ladies' night.
Girls' night.
Girls' night out. So that's yeah. Lift the roof, lift the ceiling. Yeah, whatever. All right. Anyway, that does it for us this week. So hopefully next week, everybody will be back, and Sam will remember, and Scott will feel better, and we'll all be doing our thing. So thank you all for watching. Really appreciate it. And tune us in next week, 8:00 every Wednesday night. This is where you're going to find us. You know, whether it's here on Facebook or on our YouTube channel, we stream it live at both locations simultaneously. And then, and yeah, so we'll see you all here next week. Stay healthy, stay safe. Everyone, have a great night.